This is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public. It's much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows. And it scares the hell out of me.
Elon Musk is undoubtedly one of the greatest minds of our generation. The CEO of Tesla is always bubbling over with innovative ideas. In fact, his very brand is coming up with outlandish ideas. And what's more, he doesn't stop at just coming up with ideas. He actually perseveres and works the brains to develop math and tech. And this time, he predicted that the Earth will collapse in 2030.
So my question is really, how life will be in Earth 20, 30, 50 years from now?
Well, I think this is one of those things that's quite difficult to predict.
Someone with that degree of intellect is definitely not someone you can ignore. That's why when he says something, it's not very easy to neglect that, is it? And recently, he has said some really jaw-dropping things that are very valid. Recently, he has gone on record and shared some of his predictions about what the future might look like. And hold on to your seats, because we're about to go into detail about everything that he just said. Basically, he predicted the end of human society as we currently know it and proposed a very different type of world. Honestly, we can't really help but delve deep into everything that Elon Musk has to say. In a conversation with Joe Rogan, Elon Musk recently talked a lot about how language or human communication itself might potentially evolve. Central to this conversation is Musk's Neuralink device. Elon Musk clearly thinks that communication will transcend linguistic barriers and become a lot more cerebral in nature, where languages will become more like a program in our head. He said that with the help of the Neuralink apparatus, decoding and comprehending language will become a matter of loading the accurate program. It'll be more like simply downloading the program that will allow you to understand any language without the need to actually learn an extensive grammar to communicate with people. It's very similar to what movie buffs would identify as a semblance of how the Matrix worked, as Musk himself admits. Besides, Musk also went on to explain how recalling the lived experience of one's human years will be like saving one's progress in a game. You will probably be able to simply save your memories and recall them whenever you want to. And not just that, you will also be in a position to relive the sensory experiences of the memory along with its narrative. Now, how many times have you actually wished that a memory lasts forever? Haven't you also wished sometimes that you get to hold on to the feeling, sounds, sights, and touch of a moment forever? Well, technical though this may seem, this is precisely the kind of technology we need for sentimental people like us. Do let me know in the comments if this is something that you will find plenty of use for. But that is just about the end of society as we know it today. We can't disregard Elon Musk's tweets, something that he is famous for. Musk is well known for the erratic genius of his tweets, which have often influenced defining scientific moments for the century. He expresses his personal opinions through his tweets, and when you consider that these are the spontaneous thought processes of one of the greatest scientific brains of this generation, you can't help but pay attention. Keep watching to find out what Musk has had to say about the human population in general. Now, you might be well aware that Musk is a huge enthusiast of interplanetary space travel. He has been continuously designing the science and tech necessary to make it an easier reality, and when he founded SpaceX, it was chiefly to cater to this dream of his. For a man whose thought exists on this level, he obviously has other considerations related to this on his mind as well. Recently, however, Musk has shockingly talked about how the human population, as we know it today, is simply not going to be enough to cover living spaces on other planets. In January, he tweeted that this might lead to a population collapse, because if the human population is not enough to cover the entirety of Earth, then there simply wouldn't be enough people to sustain a human world on another planet like Mars.
I hope we are out there on Mars and maybe beyond Mars, the moons of Jupiter. I hope we're traveling frequently throughout the solar system.
This sort of implies that Musk is more or less advocating for an increase in human population. Now, I know what you might be thinking. In a world where overpopulation is viewed as a very real threat, a statement like this, coming from the top technical brain of the century, can not just be construed as irresponsible speech, but also as borderline dangerous motivation for the multiplication of the human race. But that's the thing. This is Elon Musk that we're talking about. He didn't randomly pull out an opinion out of nowhere. In the following thread, Musk proceeds to explain the root of such a controversial statement. He criticizes the United Nations' estimates and the population figures that they put out, which essentially dominate the conversation around the dangers of overpopulation. After firmly opening that the UN projections are utter nonsense, Musk actually provides a more fail-safe calculation for the math involved. Moreover, he actually points out the downward trend in the birth rate over the recent years and uses it to substantiate that the human population might be dwindling. And if this continues, it'll be very difficult for mankind to even try to inhabit Mars. Clearly, Musk is also very critical of the prediction that by the year 2100, the world's population will have gone up by 11 billion. For the same reasons, he just doesn't seem to see eye to eye with this prediction, because with a birth rate that is actively diminishing as a trend, it'll be impossible for this to happen. And obviously, we don't want to burden Mother Earth with too many of our kind. But we also can't explore the sustainability of life on other planets if we don't actively outgrow the Earth. And what Musk seems to be most perturbed by is the possibility of an Earth with a very limited youth population. As the birth rate drops, people will continue to age and grow infirm, but there will be a marked increase in the number of people who need assistance to survive. But who do you think will have to run the world? Capable youngsters, of whom not many might even be around for all this if the current trend continues. And that is fundamentally the problem that Musk is trying to highlight. In a world where the young population is dwindling, it might become increasingly difficult for enough people to remain who can actively take part in interplanetary exploration or in any innovative venture for that matter. Basically, instead of worrying about the population boom and its ill effects, Musk is focused on quite the reverse. He's concerned about the potential drop in the human population by the year 2050. And nope, he does not think that this will solve any of the resource-related problems we're currently facing. He thinks that this might mean that science and technology will have to take a massive hit. So what do you think? On one hand, the logic behind this is flawless. On the other, it's still an incredibly controversial opinion to put out there. Do you agree with this? Do let me know in the comments down below. This will be all for today's video, but don't worry, I'll be back soon with more such interesting content. If this is something that you've enjoyed, don't forget to like the video and share it. Oh, and to stay updated, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again when we're back with our next video.